and I'm here with Millie, our bearded dragon, about 3 months old. We got her amazingly about this size. First few weeks she ran into a lot of problems, so she never really grew, and for a long time she didn't eat, and so we took her to 2 or 3 different doctors, and as you can see today she's a little bit more alert, but she was pretty much near death. Her prognosis was terrible. All the doctors basically said I wouldn't get my hopes up, but what happens is we took her to a hospital, and a doctor watched over her in basically what they call an ICU, I guess, for about a week, and we got her back about after a week, and we are told that we are supposed to feed. She weighs barely 6 grams when we got her to the hospital. Today we weighed her at 11, so she's come a long way. So we can try to find old pictures for her. That was when she was about 6 grams, so you can see the comparison between today and she was always sleeping, not moving. You can see today she's pretty alert. What am I here today is basically trying to show you guys something we had to do to try to save her life that I haven't seen before, which is basically feeding her through a tube. So it's a process that I was trained by the nurse at the hospital to feed her, to ensure that she gets properly hydrated and get the nutrients that she needs. So basically the first thing we needed was basically the powderized form of her food. I think it's just Missouri, basically ground it up, and some warm water, which then I proceeded to mix together to make sort of a slush, but it's kind of a watery slush for her. And the equipment we needed is basically a sling and a tube, a pretty small tube, if you could see the size on that. It's quite long, and if you can see, it's basically as long as a body almost. So what we're going to need to do is I need help. One person will be holding her. I will be preparing the sling to fill the food here, and then we're going to be intubating her, basically taking this and putting it into her mouth, basically all the way down to her stomach, and then proceed to slowly push food into her stomach directly. Now, it sounds pretty dicey, and the first time I saw it and the first time I tried to do it was not fun. So I thought I'd make a video to show you how this is done, and it's not as difficult as it looks, but it is a little bit squeamish for somebody who needs to put a probably a 2.5, 3 inch tube down a reptile's throat. So I'm going to need somebody's help to hold her in position, and then we're going to proceed to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and suck up as much as possible. Now I'm actually putting a lot of stuff in here, but I'm actually going to feed her just about 0.3 to 0.5 milliliter. So we won't be using all of it. I'm going to chase out the air bubbles here a little bit, and then I'm going to put in the tubing, and then basically push the nutrients down, okay, and then push the water, fill the tube so there's no air in it. Now the tube is actually cut about 1 centimeter from the end, so there's a hole there for a dripping, so you can see it dripping. Okay, so we're ready, right? So now I'm going to go, you can see this is almost filled, so I'm going to go about halfway through to get about 0.3 milliliters down. Alright, So this is pretty difficult to do. So person is going to help hold the upper jaw. I'm gonna, she needs to be on this side. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull her lower jaw down. Okay, open her mouth, and then I'm going to, it's not as easy as it looks, okay? So I'm gonna see to push this down. Okay, now it looks kind of difficult and tricky, but actually as you're putting it down, she's actually helping by swallowing it. So we're taking it just pretty much that much down. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I'm getting the nutrients in by tipping this up, and then start to proceed to push food down. So I'm looking at about halfway down. Okay, so that's probably where I want to stop. And so she's taking about 0.3 milliliters, and then we're just going to slowly pull it back up. Okay, the next thing we need to do is basically, now I'm going to do two things here. One is we're going to let her absorb a little more water by putting her vent down, but we're basically, for this step, we're actually going to put her at an angle so that she doesn't push the food or the liquid back up, just to keep her in a more horizontal, vertical. And we're going to let her do this while trying to hydrate her a little bit more with the water. The way that you're supposed to help bearded dragon rehydrate is not actually to give them a complete bath. They take in most of the liquids through their vents, which is in the back lower half, right? So for young bearded dragons, we are told by professionals that we're not supposed to bathe the whole body, because then it could get the water into its airways and things like that, and gets a lot of complications if the weather changes or something like that. So the way we rehydrate is to basically keep their vent, right, submerged under the water, and keep their upper torso from getting wet. This is how we're supposed to rehydrate a bearded dragon. So we're going to let that sit there for a couple of minutes, and then she'll be done. She's fed, she's hydrated, she's got liquid, she's got nutrient, and she's getting double hydrated by the water that we're soaking her vent on. So now she's gone from 6 grams to 11 grams today, and she's alert, she's doing well, so she's beaten the odds. And so we'll keep tabs on her for the next few days. She's also taking food by herself. We're putting live worms into live cockroaches in there, and she's actually catching them and eating them. So she's almost back to where she's supposed to be. We're going to check in with the doctors again about her behavior, her current status, and see if we can get off this sling. It's pretty nerve-wracking to do, but it's possible, and it's a great best way to try to keep your bearded dragon hydrated and get the nutrition it needs to recover. So with that, thanks for watching. Again, subscribe, hit the notification, and we'll keep you updated on Millie's condition. Bye.